Well, good morning. What we have here is a Boulevard Cypress, and I'm thinking of making a major change. Well, my life is actually doing very well, but sometimes, you just feel like a change. Today, while I was getting my haircut, I had this discussion, and she says, well, maybe what you need is a mohawk. And I did give it a consideration, but can you imagine me with a mohawk? Well, anyway, so today, what I thought I'd do with this Boulevard Cypress is to go ahead and make a major change. I mean, when I say major, we're not talking about a trim. We're not even talking about a heavy trim. We're talking about a major trim. But I'm gonna proceed cautiously. Okay, when I talk about major, you see where that yellow tape is? I was gonna cut this whole top off and only have the side. I could get gutsy and just cut that whole thing off, but I've been doing this long enough that a lot of times my initial idea may not have been the best. So what I'm going to do is start from the top and then remove some and see if my first concept of major change still applies. So I'll go ahead and start to remove from the top down. Not much change. Each step is good to evaluate. I wonder. Oh. Should I continue? I think I still want to do this major change, so I'm going to cut off some more. I wonder if I should be stopping about now. Well, I think what I'm going to do is, instead of doing my drastic cut at this point, I'm going to thin out the tops so that I could maybe save this part. So let me proceed this part as if I was going to keep this, right? Because I can always go back and cut it off to my original idea, but maybe it's worth keeping. Well, that's one thing about this. It's never for certain. Life's been pretty good and I'm content, but sometimes you just get this urge to do something different, and I thought maybe this was it. But then I also have spent over 40 years to get this point, so maybe I should sort of back off and then see if I could get what I want to do without having to cut it at this base, which is so sort of change in plans. And I'm going to finish pruning this side as if this was our final solution, because it possibly could be. Cutting it off at the tape is a rather major, well, it would be a big change, or it could be a major blunder too. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get all this trimmed and then get back to you. You know, I'm kind of liking this. I'll do a little bit more trimming, and I think I'm going to forego the big cut. Well, one of the problems I saw was there's going to be a big wound there. So let me go ahead and remove the tape. It's on the floor, and then as we get back to our project, you know, I'm beginning to like this. I think cutting that whole thing off would have been too drastic. And you can see what I did was I'm tilting this. So take it out of this container, cut some of the roots, put it in either this same container or something slightly different. But can you imagine this tilt? I'm really beginning to like this. So I think it was a good thing that I did not take the initial idea and just cut it where that tape was. What can I say? Just one of those things that it's a process. You can't always predict everything, no matter how long you've been doing this. Well, in my younger days, I would have just picked this thing up and got started. But now I'm wiser now, so I'm using my engine hoist. Get this out, and then I'll put it on the rolling table and get to the next stage. It's always about having the right piece of equipment to avoid injury. Well, like I said, when I was younger, I would have just picked this up, but not anymore. Well, I would say about half is off now. Well, it's a little bit on the harsh side, but remember we took off like 80% of the foliage, so we should be okay. The only minor thing I worry about is our timing. If this was a month and a half earlier, I have full confidence. And right now I'm thinking, yeah, it should work. Let's hope so. Whew, I got it done. A little bit less heavy now because the container is a little bit shallower. So, and then with the top somewhat thinned out, it should be lighter too. But it's a good thing I did not go with my first instinct. Well, this kind of gives you a rough idea of what I was thinking, and I think it would have been a little bit too much. Yeah, before I say goodbye, well, let's go ahead and take a look at what this actually looked like before we got started. It was big and bushy. Well, it's quite old too. I think past 40 years. I'm not sure how much older, but somewhere in that neighborhood. Like I was saying before, I think I should have started this about a month and a half ago when it would have been, 95% success rate. I think we're down to maybe 75 or 80%. I'm gonna have to find a fairly well protected area. This used to be in fair amount of sun, but because of the harshness and lateness in the season, I'm gonna have to give it extra care. But I'm quite happy the way it's turned out, and thank goodness I did not go with my first gut instinct with, I would have taken the chainsaw and cut it, but I took a wise path and I think it's worked out well. So anyway, this is Hiro saying goodbye. I'll see you again real soon in another chapter. So this was the Blvd Cypress and Hiro's attempt at a major change, which I guess it did turn out. It is a major change. Okay, see you again real soon.